I'm excited for my next segment. We're going to be talking technology with sports. We've got Julie Souza. She's AWS's Global Head of Sports. I mean, that's a pretty cool job, isn't it?
It's the best job on the planet.
Yeah, I think so. So you get to deal with all the different sports leagues.
Yeah.
NFL, F1, PGA.
PGA TOUR, Bundesliga, the NBA.
How did you get this job?
I got lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
Been working hard for a long time too.
So I'm excited. We're down in the Sports Lounge. It's called Sports
Forum at
Sports
reInvent.
Forum. Okay, at the reInvent conference, and you've got all sorts of different zones here. So everything from fan experiences to player safety and behind the scenes. Why don't we just walk over here to the Bundesliga?
The Bundesliga.
Yes, so for those that don't know who that is, or what that is, that's the German soccer/football league.
Exactly right.
And this is a fan experience type of technology.
Right, so what we're showcasing here is some of the work we do leveraging analytics and generative AI. So, you know, if you look, actually this is a really great thing to watch over here because this sort of brings it all together. The teams or the leagues are all gathering data. The leagues are gathering data at copious volumes. It's about 3.6 million points of data.
How are they getting that data?
In the case of Bundesliga, it's optical tracking, so cameras.
Okay.
And so it's about 3.6 million points of data per match.
Every stadium?
Yeah.
Oh my God, okay.
So what you're seeing here is that the data feed is coming in, right? So this is the input to the generative AI tool that is then creating commentary. So if we wanted to watch, let's see, a goal described, going to a goal, 47-minute mark.
So we're showing part of the game here.
So we're part of the game. This is a live game action, and then we want to create commentary in real time.
So the fans can get that after the game, yes.
And so, and in real time we can create this. And we could do this in different languages. So if you want to do it in English, in German, Spanish, let's go to English because that's what I read.
Yeah, so the cameras, it knows all the players and what they're doing and where they are. That's like insane.
Yeah.
And that's computing all of that.
In lightning fast speed.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
I'm talking about 3.6 million points of data for Bundesliga for a match, but you talk about like a golf tournament, it's 53 million points of data for a golf tournament. If you look at Next Gen Stats, which is the NFL's, stats and analytics platform, that's about 500 million points of data over the course of a season. And then, F1, which we can maybe talk about in a minute too, they're collecting 1.1 million points of data per second off the cars. So it's a crazy amount of, which is why they need, AWS and all this compute
a global
power.
Head of sports.
This is why they need compute power and AWS, so it's great. So now they're taking this data feed, and it's just the raw data, and they're creating commentary around it, leveraging generative AI to contextualize that content. So they're going to deliver it, let's say this is English, and then they could do it in a different tone of voice. So if you wanted to describe this goal very standardly, it's like clinical finish seals victory, right?
So the AI is just coming up with it.
AI is creating it in different tones. So now poetic. So now Blade of Destiny strikes true.
So this is written text, a commentary that is given.
Yeah, that would show up.
And you can choose what kind of
voice
tone,
you want.
voice or tone that you want.
Or persona. This one, Gen Alpha, they used to call this Bro. So it's like
they've rebranded it to Gen Alpha.
To Gen Alpha. So this
so listen to this. Yo, Kosh just delivered the final nail in the coffin. My guy smashed a 5-meter high left. Yeah, so that's totally Gen Alpha.
Right. Bruh. Right? Then you got bruh in there. Right? So
it's just like instantly generating that.
And the cool thing about this, it lets them talk to fans the way they, in a tone of voice that they want to, that's more conversant and casual, or, a little bit, or may resonate more, right? So it's meeting fans where they are, talking to them in a way. They're also using generative AI tools to do, this auto translation, but also to create content from one corpus of work. For example, I have a long form article about a match, and they're using Gen AI to say, okay, let's take that article and let's create an Instagram reel and a Twitter post or X post, or something for TikTok. So they're creating derivative works. Generative AI is creating these derivative works that can go out on different platforms to meet fans where they are.
So you're doing something similar with the PGA, the golf guys.
So that's a good segue over here to PGA TOUR. And they're doing, so again, they're collecting a tremendous amount of data off the course as well. And they have a TourCast as their product, which you can sort of see, if we can go look at this video.
Yeah. So this is a video of a game going on.
Yeah, so this is just a little bit about what they're capturing. So the Ken Lovell's fantastic. He's in charge of all the golf
And
course
so
technology.
how are they getting this information? Cameras
Cameras.
again? Okay.
So
So you're not sticking sensors in the balls or
No,
anything? No,
not in this case.
No.
NFL uses sensors on the players and the shoulder pads and in the ball. Hockey also uses sensors, but everybody is largely also using, if they're using sensors, now also using optical tracking, because you can just get so much more data.
Okay.
If you're talking about the ball, you get like the center of the ball. These two sets, you get 1 point or 2 points in that case.
Yeah.
Versus optical tracking, you're like in NBA, it's like 29 points on the body or something.
Yeah.
They're getting all those
Wow.
data points in. So anyway, the data that the PGA Tour is collecting, it's the same sort of thing that you just saw there with Bundesliga. Here's the raw data. Now let's contextualize that data. Rory McIlroy just hit over 350 yards on the 16th hole. So the data input would be Rory McIlroy, 16th hole, 350 yards. That input is then turned into commentary, which is Rory McIlroy just hit for 350 yards on the 16th hole. He's the fourth player today to hit for over 350 yards on that hole, and this is his third time consecutively on this course shooting for over 350 yards on this hole.
Because
right?
it has access to all that previous data.
Exactly. So they've got their
In, like,
entire
real time.
archive of data. Exactly. So they're pushing all of this data out and through their TourCast app, which is really exciting. And so, I think we've talked about this before. When you're watching a golf tournament, only about 15% of the shots are ever televised, right? So
Yeah.
for the other 85%, they don't have commentary associated with
No.
them, right? So this is providing that commentary and context. So automated play-by-play commentary that reviews the shot-by-shot player data, and that's all fed into their app.
So
they
when
can
you're
follow
saying
it
that
real-time.
data is being input, are humans having to do anything there?
No, it's all computers.
That's amazing. So right now it's going to be text commentary.
Yes.
Do you see that turning to voice commentary anytime soon? Yes.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I imagine you'd be able to pick voices and stuff
Yeah.
down the road here as well. So let's talk NBA. You guys are
Love it.
working with the Raptors, the Toronto Raptors,
Yep.
Canada's team.
Canada's team.
So what's happening with these guys here? What are you doing?
So we've got a couple things here. This is NBA. So we were also working with the NBA, and the WNBA just started working with them this year, which is really exciting. This is a feature called Play Finder, which is allowing, right now, primarily broadcasting partners of the league to go and access, like plays. So Play Finder, find plays. So if you see a particular play on the court, hey, when's the last time that the Horns, offense was played in this instance against those players, and you could call that up. So we've got a little bit of the Play Finder preview here. We also, over there, have the Raptors experience that you were talking about. which
So
is
how are you getting the data for the NBA? Is it
NBA
cameras?
is cameras. It's about each 12 cameras in each stadium or each venue.
Okay.
Sorry, arena.
Yeah.
How do we get here from there?
Yeah, we're going through the forum here, and
We
there's
are.
the beanbag chair
beanbag
field here.
seat.
Yeah. So so you got a shooting lab here.
Shooting lab is great. Again, this is not the full 8 to 12 cameras. This is 4 cameras, and it's measuring the mechanics, the shooting mechanics of a player, and then comparing it to, over time. So
Yeah.
how consistent are they in their shots, right? And so it's a coaching tool saying, hey, you keep dropping your elbow, or whatever, so that they can actually work on their form. But then in this, activation, we're showing, so somebody's shooting here, and they're going to not only check for the consistency of their shot and the biomechanics of it, but then also comparing her shot to Raptors players, and to see whose shot is hers most similar to.
So it's taking that data to show how well they're shooting.
Well, it's showing the consistency and the mechanics of
Okay.
it. So if you look over here a little bit, it'll show
Oh, I see.
the
Yeah.
metrics, and so the release height, the release angle, release velocity,
Okay.
how consistent are they in their free throw shooting?
So you've
Right.
got a screen basically saying their stance, how fast that ball, like you were saying. That's amazing that it can capture all of that.
Yep.
Does it know if it's going to go in or not before it?
This
question.
instance, no, but yes. That's what golf's doing. Golf is able to once the club face hits the ball, they're able to predict sometimes within inches where the ball's going to land.
That's
Not
amazing.
just hit, but then dribble in and come to a stop. So it's really, you're getting into this very predictive state of analytics.
It's that precise, eh? That's amazing. So I want to talk player safety now, and that's something that's really interesting with the NFL.
Yeah.
So you and I have talked in the past couple of
Yeah.
years, and you guys have really made some amazing strides in helping the NFL reduce injuries.
Yeah. I'm so proud of this one.
Yeah.
Just because it's fun. We work in sports, it's fun, but what are we doing that's helping humanity? The work that has been done by the NFL that we've been a grateful partner in is really improving the overall health and safety of the game. And so I think it's interesting to note they are also collecting a tremendous amount of data. And like I said, they were collecting it for the purposes of those next-gen stats.
And how are they collecting that data?
So speed, time, distance. You're going to see over here. There's just an image of the shoulder pads that the players wear.
So you're putting sensors right in their equipment.
Sensors on each shoulder pad, and the ball is chipped as well.
Okay. Cameras in the stadium?
Yes, that is more recent because they started with the sensor tracking, and that's where you were getting speed, time, distance, acceleration, things like that played into the next gen stats. Now they're also implementing cameras, and with that they're capturing the skeletal pose, which helps you understand more of the biomechanics of what's happening on the field of play. With all of this data, I think I mentioned 500 million points of data inform next-gen stats off of
500 million
over the course of the season.
Yeah.
That is, again, for the next-gen stats use case of engaging analytics. For player health and safety, it's 500 million points of data per week. And that's coming off of it. Yeah, so it's a tremendous amount of data to synthesize to understand, hey, who's at potential risk of injury? So the league developed a dashboard, the digital athlete, player health and safety portal, and when they pushed that out last season, 2 seasons ago, to teams, it alerted coaching staff, training staff to players that are at potential risk of injury.
So they haven't had an injury yet, but they can predict it.
Yeah. And there
That's
were
insane.
700 fewer missed games that season by players.
That's amazing. Like, the players must love that because their body is their business.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna borrow that phrase.
Yeah, no worries.
No, but that's 100%. The players want to be out on the field, right? They want the longest career they can have in the league. The fans certainly want their favorite players, and the owners and the teams who spend a lot of money on these players want them out there performing at their highest level.
Yeah.
So it's really like everybody wins in this situation. We're coming off last season with the lowest number of concussion rates on history with the NFL.
That used to be a big problem.
Huge problem, right? And actually, look at what they're doing. It's not just, hey, let's get to these players and then train them differently or deal with load management issues to stave off injury, but let's actually scrutinize this game. And they've changed rules, right? The dynamic kickoff rule changed last season, reinstituted, and now the way that they're playing the game. But they were trying to solve for two things there. One, not many kickoffs were actually being returned, so it wasn't a very exciting play. But number two, and more importantly, it caused a 2-time injury rate and a 4-time concussion rate over a normal pass or run play.
For stuff that wasn't even that exciting to watch.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And so what they did is they took 10,000 seasons worth of data, simulated data, to try, if we change the rules, if we tweak the rules to optimize for more kickoff returns and a reduced injury rate, what would the rule look like? What would we need to do? And that's how they arrived at what they have.
So the AI can help figure that out.
Yeah. It's simulating all of the data to come up for a solution that optimizes for whatever variables you're putting out there. In that case, it was player health and safety and kickoff returns. And I'll tell you, now with that new rule, injury rate has completely normalized. It did exactly what they wanted to do, and as of week 9, 79% more kickoff returns. So it did exactly what they wanted it to do. So a lot more use cases there, helmet-specific, position-specific helmets, so equipment changes are happening. They also banned the hip drop tackle, which was a play that caused a 20x injury rate.
20 times.
20 times more injuries, right? So you're like, let's not do that anymore, right? So that was banned last year. So, I think this is an iterative thing that we're, working with them on. How do we continually find opportunities to, change the game in a really positive way?
Well, Julie, I want to thank you for coming on the program here. And it's Julie Souza. She is the AWS Global Head of Sports. I want your job. It's so cool.
It's mine.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.